Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is late. I'm very, very late today. 1:05 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. It's time for another live stream. I just got back from a workout. That's what I got out of the shower. I thought maybe I didn't have enough time for a shower. Apparently, I didn't. And I was going to just hop right on, but I was super, super gross. I didn't feel like sitting down, as disgusting as I was. So I hopped in the shower and running a little late. Sorry about that, guys. But now I'm here and ready to talk to you guys. Before I jump in, though, I do want to say hi to everyone listening in on the podcast, on the audio only version. I've got a new microphone now. I got one of these things. I don't have a proper stand for it yet, so it's just kind of very precariously sitting down here. Hopefully it sounds better for you guys listening on the audio only version when you're out there on your run or on your commute. And everyone watching on YouTube after the fact, hopefully you're doing well and you weren't doing convenience because you weren't watching live anyway. So no harm, no foul for you guys. And hopefully it's a time of day where you can have a nice recovery beverage. I've got some more of this Slate Ultra milk, the ultra filtered milk. I got the dark chocolate today. It's got 20 grams of protein per serving, and it's pretty tasty. So I'm gonna have that. Plus, I'm gonna have a bunch of water because I'm super thirsty finishing the workout. Sorry about that. Every time I make a noise, the microphone kind of protects itself. But I'm still figuring it out. All right. Sorry about that. I'm feeling very rushed. Everything's very, very rushed today, and I'll explain more. But let's start saying hi to everyone here. We've got Jutaro Kujo says, "What's the best shoes for running when raining?" I think it depends on kind of how bad the weather's going to be when you're raining. But for the most part, I would say unless the temperatures are very cold or unless the surfaces you're running on are particularly slippery when wet, I would say that a shoe that drains well is a good shoe for when it's raining. And typically, whenever I get this question, people aren't asking me about shoes for when it's raining and cold. People are asking for shoes when it's raining and very, very hot, like typhoon type season, typhoon type weather. And so the thing that most people tend to go for in that situation is they look at Gore-Tex. It's waterproof. That's going to be the best one. That's actually for hot weathers. It's the worst thing that you can do because everything just stays real swampy. Instead, you want something that's really breathable, something that's going to get wet really fast, but also drain fast and dry off fast. So shoes that are good in hot weather are generally shoes that are good for raining. All right. Garrett says, "Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's week's going well." Awesome. Garrett says, "It's supposed to be 30 degrees Celsius or 86 degrees Fahrenheit for the 50K trail race he's volunteering at this weekend. With rain today and early in the week, it's going to be muggy in the valleys." Ooh. Yeah, that's gonna be unpleasant. Well, good on you for volunteering for the trail race, though. All right. Charles Ventura says, "Just dropping in to say that the Brooks Hyperion Tempo in the original colorway is the best looking shoe yet." That is a good looking shoe. I don't know about the best looking shoe, but it's a real good looking shoe. I'll agree with you on that. Jeff Elliott's here, says hello. And David Prabhu's here, says good afternoon, fam. Good to see you again, David. All right. Inez Dunbar's here again, says hi, Kofuzi and everybody. Inez, I still love that picture of Pip the dog wearing a suit or a shirt and tie. I think that's amazing. All right. Vincent says he's got a pain and swelling from his endorphin speed ones. And on top of my lady foot where the shoe laces. Anybody else? He's got 284 miles on them. I think that some people have that. I know Thomas, I believe in the run, gets a lot of pain on the top of the foot where the lacing is. And, I don't know. Is that why people like padded tongues? I generally don't like padded tongues. The Endorphin Speed 1 had a moderate amount of padding to it. It's not like the Endorphin Pro, which had a knit tongue, super, super thin layer of knit. So I'm not sure what that is, but there are different ways of lacing shoes. So if you Google it, you might see diagrams. Normal way of lacing shoes is crisscrossing. Now it depends on when you come in the eyelets. If you go over under or over under over or over under, that can change some of the tension. Or if you do a lace where instead of crisscrossing, it's more of a horizontal pattern lacing. Sometimes people do things like that where it can alleviate some pressure. So that's something that I would Google, alternative shoe lacing patterns. He said lady feet. He said on his left foot. That's what he meant. Oh, okay. That makes a little bit more sense. I get it. I thought you were just saying you got lady feet. I thought it was a weird thing to say. I didn't want to point it out, but I'm glad that you said left foot. It's good clarification. Jason Dahl's here. Shannon's here as well. Good to see you guys both again. PG1980 says, hi, Kofuzi, how's it going? It's going well, but I'll say I'm running late. Today's video is running late. I still haven't finished it because yesterday I drove 2 hours to Starved Rock State Park, which is a park that I've been aware of. My running buddy was talking about it a lot on our last run. He said he brings the kids there and it's pretty cool. And I looked at a couple of YouTube videos about it and I was like, all right, this looks like a good place to go to test out some running shoes, some trail shoes. So I went there yesterday, but so I basically dropped off the kids, immediately headed down there, ran for a while to my heart's content, and then I had to drive super quick back, and then immediately had to go pick up the kids. So everything's been bang, 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 one thing after another, basically since yesterday morning. And so it's not stressful, but I'm behind on some stuff. And yesterday for the video, I brought the GoPro Max again. Even though I made a video about how much I dislike the camera, I brought it again a third time. Well, it's not the third. It's the fifth or sixth time that I use that camera. I brought it out again, and working with it last night, I was ready to throw my computer across the room. I was just so frustrated with it. It took forever. So that delayed things. That's further delayed today's video. Today's video is probably going to go till tomorrow. But that also meant that my workout today got delayed a little bit as well. And so I just got back and now the live stream started late. So everything's been kind of getting push further and further. So a little bit frustrated by that. But other than that, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I'm not going to complain about it again. And I appreciate you guys humoring me. All right, JC's here, says, hey, gang. And let's see. Who else we got here? We got Gino Days Off says, thank you, Co, for making my commute home in Philly. I have another day. Just saying. Awesome. Well, that's awesome. I mean, I hear from people from time to time that listen to the podcast, and I look at the stats, and it's, they're not overwhelming. I'm not going to be topping the iTunes charts at any point anytime soon with the audio from these live streams. But I feel I don't know, more people should listen to this on their commute home, because I like to think that it's kind of drive time talk radio, So I think that it would work in the car. Gino Days Off thinks it works. And I met someone at the Art of Speed event that I went where Greg Itahara was there, and Heartbreak Run Company was putting on the event. And someone was like, hey, Kofuzi, I listen to you every day when I'm driving home. And I was like, yes, love it. I love it. Love to hear that. So very cool. Thanks for letting me know that. And I'm glad you're enjoying the listen. All right. I'm going to scroll down because I'm way behind you guys in the chat. So I'm going to try and catch up to you guys. All right. Yana says, hey, everyone, just got back from my run. Messed up when creating the workout. So I ended up being 200 meter splits with 3 minutes recovery. Oh, that's fun. Also got halfway through the talk with Remy on the channel and love it. Oh, very cool. Awesome. That was a good talk. I had a lot of fun doing that one with Remy. All right. Let's see. Yeah, Steve said the Speedland. Yeah, I ran in the Speedlands yesterday. That's a fun shoe. I was trying to think if I still had it around here, but no, I don't. I moved it. But that's a fun. It's a really, really fun shoe. The hard thing is that it's $375. So that's the thing about it. That's hard to kind of figure out how do I talk about the shoe, because one angle is this is crazy. It's $375. No shoe should be $375, right? But I see some potential here. But I'm still working on the video, so it'll come out. I could probably crank it out for later today, but I think probably the better thing at this point is just push it till tomorrow and not rush it, and then maybe make it even a little bit shorter, because it's right now as it stands, it's 20 minutes long, so that's a little bit too long. But I had a lot of fun. I got to explore a new place. The scenery and the imagery that I got from the run is super fun. So yeah. I'm really looking forward to that video coming out, but that'll be soon. All right. Scott said, if I had a commute, I would definitely listen to the live stream instead of on treadmill days. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think that's where it probably fits better. I also do think that on the treadmill would be fun too. Cause you know what my favorite thing to listen to right now is? I love the main things that I normally listen to and I normally really enjoy: Rambling Runner, Morning Shakeout, Ellie on the Run Show, Rich Roll, like all those I really enjoy. But like two of my favorite things right now to listen to when I'm running, because it just feels like I'm in a run group and I'm listening to other people chit chat, is the Believe in the Run, the drop, not the interview part, like the 20 minutes beforehand when they're just talking. Like that's the part that I like. And when Rich Roll does the roll on segment with, and it's like they do like an episode, I think like every other week with Adam Skolnick. And sometimes it's like an hour, sometimes it's 3. It's just crazy. I really enjoy that because it's just like 2 people talking, like 2 people would normally talk, or like in the case of the drop, it's 3 people talking how they would normally talk. And there's some loose structure there, but it's just a conversation. And so like I really like that, and I'm hoping like that this comes off more like a conversation too, even though usually it's just me. But yeah, that's what I've been really enjoying. And so like if you guys are on the treadmill and looking for things to listen to, hopefully you guys are listening to that already, or on your commutes. I think those are good ones. The roll on one I particularly like because it's so long that like, I could just kind of like leave it on and I don't have to worry about like picking something else. And that's how I always get to the end and I'm in the last drop club, is that like, I just hit play and I let it go and you don't have to think about it and you just listen. And sometimes I like to zone out when I'm running, and that's a good one to kind of like, just not think about anything when I'm running. And so that's a good one. Leonard Lim says, how do you choose a walking shoe? For a walking shoe, I've never really bought like a walking shoe. Like some people ask me like, is this a good shoe for being on your feet all day? Right. So some people have to like be standing for work, whether they're working in the healthcare industry, whether they're working retail, or whether they're working in like the service industry. And so usually for that, what I look for is really, really good traction on the bottom. So outsole grip. And then also something that's just going to be really comfortable, not only in squishiness, but also in the upper. So like those are things that I look for. So things that are like kind of like really snug or intended for going fast tend not to be good shoes for me for walking or for standing around or being on your feet all. I don't want to say standing around like you're loafing, but like just being on your feet all day. The other things that I would look for are going to be just like really good, like step in comfort. So like an ortho light liner, if that says that, or like memory foam, like those kinds of words are words that I like for walking shoes. But if I were getting a walking shoe for exercise, I would probably look at like a daily trainer, like a walking, like a running shoe daily trainer, or something that's even in the more max cushion category. So like those are like the ones that I would look for. I know that there are specifically walking shoes that exist as well. I'm just not familiar with them and I don't know how to kind of shop for those. All right, Garrett says, what's everyone's go-to sock brands? I'm going to open up this so if you hear something. It's not a beer. It's this milk. Garrett wants to know, what's everyone's go-to sock brands these days? I've been going with Endure for non-compression for the fun designs and Pro Compression for compression socks. I'm trying to think. I've been enjoying, I always like Darn Tough. They're made in the USA out of Vermont. Lifetime warranty, I think, on the right. Like super crazy long. You'll lose the socks before they wear out. Those are always good, especially their winter socks, like over the calf. I love them. I love them, love them, love them. The other ones that I've been liking are, what's the one? Stance. I really like Stance. Although their socks tend to run a little bit hot. So I don't love them for like super hot summer running. For super hot summer running, I've been really liking Features, like the one Feetures. Those have been really good to me because they're very thin and there's just like minimal material. So I like that a lot. A lot of good airflow in those. And I say those are probably the brands that I'm enjoying right now. Yeah. This chocolate milk is tasty, I gotta say. All right. So what we have here is Jeff Elliott says, DC Rainmaker's name is Ray Maker. I knew it was Ray, but that's it. I think he just tried the Gatorade sticker thing on Instagram, but I missed it. Yeah. Yeah, it's Ray Maker. What a great name, right? And then Rainmaker, DC Rainmaker. That's just a good one too. He did try the Gatorade thing. I don't think he liked it at all. He was talking about, I think like he referenced that like, hey guys, I'm testing this thing out in one of his other videos. I don't remember if it was, I think it was one of the the bike computer videos that he made. I'm not sure where it was, but he was talking about how the app is just super terrible. They have to use with it, and I agree. The app is just like, it's half baked, you know. Like I feel like they were like, all right, developer guys, you have 5 hours to complete this. And whatever you have at 5 hours, stop. You know, I just feel like that's how it was built, because like parts of it just feel unfinished. But the concept is interesting, you know, and it's like a really good way to sell more Gatorade too. But it has, you know, as much as I make fun of it, it has made me think more about not only making sure I'm getting enough sugar during my runs, but because I've been thinking, you know, I've always been mindful of sugar and salt. But it also makes me think about like, you know, maybe I do need to make sure I'm replenishing overall fluid volume. Maybe not quite as much as Gatorade thinks I need to, but a little bit more than I have been. And so I do think my running's been better this year because of that. Jeff Elliott wants to know, did I modify the lugs on the Speedland? No, I was too scared, to be honest with you. I was worried that I was going to do something wrong. And then like, you know, kind of like if I were to cut my own hair, it would just be all uneven. And then I'd be like, oh, this side's uneven, so I got to cut it more. And now I'm like, oh no, it's uneven. I got to balance out the other side. And then eventually I would just have no lugs. So like, that's kind of like where I was at. So I left it to see what it was just like without it. And I think I'm going to leave them uncut, because I'm primarily going to use that in like colder weather, where it might be icy or slushy. So I feel like, you know, just leave it as it is. I think it'll be fine. Ian Lowe wants to say, hey, Kofuzi, could you please recommend an easy day long run shoe? I'm using my Triumph 19s at the moment. I really like the Triumph 19s as a long run shoe. Although for me, that shoe has a little bit of medial posting. It's a little bit stiffer. Like if this is the foot and this is the arch of the foot, like right under here, it's a little bit firmer in the foam, and I feel it. So every time my foot hits, it sends like a little bit of extra shock right up into my knee. It feels like, I don't know if that's really what's happening, but that's what I feel. So some other easy long run day shoes, if you don't like the Triumph 19, I would say probably something softer is what you would be looking for, because the Triumph 19 is pretty springy. It's very bouncy. It's a little bit firm, but it's like a quick bounce. So I would look at the Clifton 8 as the next one to look at, if not that, or the Nova Blast 2. It's like those are some that I would check out. Yeah, Jeff Elliott says about modifying the Speedland. I don't think I ever feel good about modifying a $300 shoe. That's the thing. You can't put the lugs back once you trim them, and that's why I feel like, the main thing that I would want to like be able to switch up on a trail shoe is the outsole traction, and like you really still can't on that one, you know. All right, Andrew Bostic says, yo, I need help with pacing my tempos, because if I go out too conservative, then the pace will get slower. But if I go fast, I fall apart. Well, I mean, there's some guessing and checking that can go with your tempo runs for sure. A good place to start, if you have these numbers, Andrew, and I know like you're a little bit of a younger runner, well, especially compared to me. So I don't know if you have 10K and half marathon times. And so if you do, then that's where your tempo runs should be. Like the work phase should be almost exactly in between those two paces. And so that's the easiest way to kind of figure that out. If not, let me try to think. My 5K pace is about 6 minutes per mile. 10 is about 6:26. And half marathon is like high 6:30s, maybe 6:40. So like my threshold pace is about 6:35-ish, 6:30. So I would say try 30 seconds per minute slower than your 5K time. Start there, 30 to 45 seconds. And here's the other thing, right? I think if you're doing a tempo run, it's better to finish and say, I could probably run that a little bit harder, than it is to say, ooh, I messed up. I got to slow down now. Because the goal that you're trying to do is get your body accustomed to working at a pace where it's working and consuming as much oxygen as your body can bring in at a time. right? And so like, but no more, right? So like when you run faster than that, so if you do your tempo pace wrong, then your body starts going anaerobic and it starts relying on non-aerobic or respiratory oxygen and fuel sources. So like I'd say it's better to have a little bit too slow of a pace when you're doing a threshold or a tempo workout, if that makes sense. Sorry, that was a really long answer. All right. Scott says, would you take the RC Elite version 2 out for a 20-mile easy during marathon training? That's exactly what I'm going to do this weekend. So I still haven't signed up for it. So hopefully there's still spots. But I'm going to do the CARA, Chicago Aero Runners Association 20-miler. It's a supported like 20-mile run along the lakefront, and it's point to point, which I like because like turning around at the 10-mile point, that's mentally very tough. I'm going to take the RC Elite 2. And I'm thinking for that, I'm going to run at 30 to 45 seconds per mile slower than my goal marathon pace. So I'm thinking that like, you know, that's not easy, but it's not hard. It's not even moderate. I guess it's like lightly, it's about moderate, I guess. So like, that's what I'm going to try to do with it. And the main goal for that is to just see what it feels like to be on feet for about 3 hours in the shoe. So that's like the main point of that exercise for me, because I'm thinking between the RC Elite 2 and the Metaspeed Sky for the marathon. So yeah, I'm going to try it. I mean, I'll let you know on after Sunday, or you can just try to do it yourself on this weekend. Matt Legrand here says, Yoko, what's going on? What's going on, Matt? It's good to see you. Look at how like wet my shirt got. Like all this hair in my shirt, like super, it's like dripping really far down. All right, Jeff Bailey says, a future video request / suggestion. Training time related to heart rate zones in a week with cycling and running. I can basically double my time in Z2, going from 6 to 12 hours, and I wonder how it will help. That's a good question. I don't know if I know enough about cycling to really make that video, but I can like do it and show you the results. I think that's about it. You know, here's like, I'm not so like, what I think that what would be considered an easy run by heart rate is a different level of effort than what would be an easy ride by the same heart rate, right? And I think maybe it's more because of the fact that I'm just not in as good cycling shape as I am in running shape. That's for sure. That's a given. But like, I'm not convinced that me running like 140 beats per minute is the same level of effort as me cycling at 140 beats per minute. I feel like me cycling at 140 beats per minute is like a moderate effort. So that's like another thing that I'm not really sure I understand. But I think part of that is because like my muscles have to work. My muscles that I don't normally work are being worked. I think that's what it is. So it throws things off for me. So like, that's the only thing I don't really know. Well, there's many things I don't know, but that's the biggest thing that I would have a problem with in making that video. Tracy Smith is going to be doing the Cara 22. It's going to be so hot. I know, right? This week is like, today is nice and balmy. Like it was chilly. The girls like got outside and they were like, oh, I think I need a sweater. As I was walking them to school, and they said it just like that too. And then, I mean, I was super hot when I was outside for my run because I went at like the middle of the day, but it wasn't like that hot if you think about it. And then it's going to be cool every day this week until the Cara 20-miler, where it's going to be 85 degrees. So, well, I mean, I guess it's good. It's good training, I guess. All right. Jeff Elliott says, I've been listening to Trainer Road obsessively. Just want the additional focus on running and cycling together. Yeah, you know, Trainer Road's really good, but I feel like sometimes they get like really into the weeds. Like there's no doubt in my mind that they know what they're talking about, but I feel like sometimes either they're assuming that their audience, which is a, you know, cycling and triathlon audience as well, is as well versed in not just like sports science, but sports science literature, which is a whole kind of like different level of kind of like technical speaking, that I feel like they sometimes don't like explain it to normal people. You know what I mean? So that's like So sometimes I just like listening to have it on. Other times I'll have it on and I'll be like, I have no idea what they're talking about. They've been talking for 20 minutes. Sounds like English. They're English words, but I don't understand. So sometimes I wish they would explain things a little bit better. Tony Macia says his heart rate zones are 10 to 12 minutes beats per minute less on the bike versus running. See, I think that's a good, that makes a little bit more sense to me. So like if I'm looking to do like 140 beats per minute on an easy run, 130, I think that would still be kind of, that would feel easy depending on how long I was doing it. I think that would feel easy, not easy like piece of cake, but like not a moderate or heavy level of exertion. That's helpful. It's helpful. Patio Duck 123 said, Patito Duck, sorry. Patito Duck 123 says, how do you deal with hotspots? I'm keeping hotspots from my Clifton 8s on the inside part of my sole. It's not the sizing, and it's nice and comfy and roomy, literally just 1 foot. Sometimes certain shoes just don't agree with you. So if like changing up different kinds of socks doesn't help. So if you've got super thin socks, try a thicker sock. If you've got thick socks, try a thin sock. Or if you're not using running socks at all, try a running sock. That's like one way to do it. If that doesn't do it, I would try getting a different insole. And so take the one that's in there out and get another one that's in there. Maybe one that's a little bit more firm or one that's a little bit more soft, but hopefully one that's about the same size so it doesn't change the fit of the shoe in terms of like thickness, right? So some of them are very, very thick. Some of them are like super thin. Try to get one that's about the same. And that might change it up. And so, and get one that's different. The one inside the Clifton is pretty soft and squishy. So maybe something that's a little firmer, maybe something to just switch up kind of like the feelings that are happening on your foot. So that's kind of like one of the things that I would try. Madridi guy says, what's up, bro? Today I did 10K using the Hoka Bondi 7 and pace was 5:30 per kilometer in 57 minutes. So how do you see my performance? I'm not sure because I'm not really good at doing the kilometer performance. But like I don't know. I have almost no idea what 5:30 per kilometer is. But I mean, I think that it depends on if that's an easy day for you. If that's an easy day, I think that the pace is irrelevant. And as long as you felt good and it felt easy for you, then I think that you did great. If that was a race, I think it's weird to use the Hoka Bondi 7 for a race. So, I mean, it's like a weird kind of like parlor bet in a way. But so I think I need to like feel more context for it. If you don't normally run 10Ks and you ran 10K today, that's awesome. And that's the success, right? And so like don't worry. I think almost no matter how we look at it. Also 10K at 57 minutes, right? So I understand that. So almost no matter how you look at it, it can be a success for you. Landon Delosier wants to know Primex versus Alphafly for the Chicago Marathon. I'd probably go with the Alphafly. The Primex is fun, but I mean, it's technically not a shoe you're really supposed to race in. Normies can, like you and me, can do it. But I'd probably go with the Alphafly. Chutaro also agrees with Alphafly. All right. Samko Buzek says, what's your half marathon PR? Greetings from Slovakia in Europe. Love your channel. Half marathon PR, I think is like 126 and something, like a high 126. So there's room for improvement there. But, I don't see myself really going for a half marathon PR anytime soon. I will be running the Chicago half marathon. Well, I think I will be. I haven't signed up for it yet. Pretty sure I'm going to be running the Chicago half marathon, but I'm thinking I'm going to use it as kind of like a dress rehearsal for the Chicago marathon. So I'm thinking probably like do 10 miles at marathon pace and then a fast 5K to finish. So that's like, so that'll be the workout. The year before that, well, 2 years before that, in 2019, that's when that PR is from. And I feel like doing that, running and hitting a PR in the Chicago half marathon 2 weeks before the Chicago marathon was not a good recipe for success for the Chicago marathon for me. Some people can do it. I don't think I can. So I'm going to take it a little bit easier this time for the half marathon. All right, I got to do a couple more and then I'm going to kind of cut out a little bit early today so I can try to catch up on some of this other stuff that I've been falling behind on. All right. Andrew Bostic talking about figuring out tempo pace says, thanks for the pacing tips. When I did a tempo a few weeks ago, I could barely hold 727 for 3K. Now I can hold it for 5K. Definitely I can go faster than I did yesterday, judging by the heart rate. Yeah. So, I mean, heart rate's another good way that you can kind of understand if you're at the right threshold too. But again, it might be for distances or heart rates that maybe you don't have data for yet. So for me, I know that like, I know I have an idea where my max heart rate is. Like I've not done like a lab test, so I don't exactly know where my max heart rate is, but I think it's around 181 to 183. And then my marathon heart rate, I think should be between 160 and 165 beats per minute. So when I do my threshold workouts, that ends up being like 170, 171. So like I kind of can figure it out, from doing other threshold workouts and backtrack out what the heart rate is. I don't really think it's that easy to figure out like, my easy run heart rate is this. Here's what my threshold should be. I don't know the math well enough. I'm sure there's some sort of graph or chart that you can use to figure it out. I don't know what that is quite yet. But I mean, when you think about tempo, the tempo is supposed to be something that you could hold for an hour, right? And so like, if it's a pace that you're having a hard time holding for 3K, then it's probably a little bit fast for you to be doing tempo. I mean, so if you're barely holding it and you're doing it or you're holding it for 5K, then that's certainly faster than like a 5K race pace for you, but it may be fast for a tempo run for you. So you may be working hard, no doubt, but you might not be working like what you're intending to for the day, which in and of itself, depending on like how specific the rest of your training in, may or may not be all that much of a problem. But like if you're doing like 400s and 200s on the track another day a week, doing your tempo runs too fast could be overtaxing that system and not working hard enough, kind of like that aerobic part of your system where you're pushing, and working at the level where you're taking in as much and burning as much oxygen as possible from respirations. So like that's something that you might want to think about. All right. We got a super chat here from Scott. Awesome, Scott. He's coming in with $5. Thanks so much, Scott. He says he's doing the super chat because you're awesome and I appreciate the knowledge. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's nice. All right, let's do, I think we got 2 more questions here and then we'll call it a day. Daniel Milaska says, question, getting a little late. Not sure if someone's asked, but the 5K PB or what the current 5K fitness would be. Thanks. My 5K PR is from like 3 or 4 years ago. I just don't run a lot of 5Ks. And I don't train for 5Ks. So it's 1943, which I'm fairly certain I can run faster than that because I did a 10K time trial and it came in almost at 20 minute per 5K pace. So like 40 minutes in like 10 seconds. So I think I can run faster than a 1943 for a 5K. Right now, I would, when I do workouts and I do 5K pace, I put that at like 6 minute per mile pace or like 6:10 minute per mile pace. So that's like a 18, like high 18s, almost a 19 minute 5K. So I think that's where like my current 5K fitness is. All right. And one more from Victor Jacobo says, I just got the Vaporfly Next% 2 for Chicago. I know there's a special for race day, but when do you think I should take for a test run and how long? Okay. So we've got like 3.5 weeks left. I would say if you just got them, that gives you a lot of great time to work with it. So that means you can take them for your last long run, which is probably this weekend or next weekend, right? So I would take them for that. And then also like the week of, if you're doing any speed work, I feel like you should do it then too. So like, even if you've got a 20 miler this weekend and like a 13 miler next weekend, and you're going to do 1 or 2 more workouts between now and then, that puts like maybe 40 or 50 miles on the Next% too. And that's still going to leave plenty of life left. They're still going to feel brand new by the time you step up to the line. If you want to baby them a little bit more, take them for one of your last long runs. So that way you at least know like what it's going to feel like on a longer run. And that it's not like going to do any chafing or rubbing on your ankle or like the top of your foot. So that's the thing that I would So that's the thing that I would try and do for that. So like, yeah, you got plenty of time to kind of like break it in. All right. I think that's a good place to leave it for today, guys. So tomorrow I'll get out that video on the Speedland, which I was supposed to get out today, but things got late. And then we'll also do another live stream tomorrow. It's happy hour. Bring your recovery beverage of choice. I'm going to be trying out a new protein shake, which I'm pretty excited to try. So I'll see you guys then. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.